draft, round 1.
Yeah.
All offseason, they're talking offensive tackle, offensive tackle, offensive tackle. Now, locally, the trendy pick, if you know ball, if you know the Niners pick, is wide receiver. Starting to hear Matt Mayoko, Matt Barrows talk about why it's not out of the realm of possibility for the Niners to draft a wide receiver in round 1. What do you think?
Nah, I mean, look, if Matt Mayoko's talking about it, there's got to be some substance there to it. He's damn. I mean, I love Matt Mayoko, but he's damn near a 49er at this point, right? Like, so if and that does lead me to believe that you may be right, because to me, you don't draft a wide receiver with BA and Debo on your team and Juwan Jennings. I don't see that. Not in round 1. They're going to draft a wide receiver, I would say, sometime within the first 4 rounds. But in round 1, the only way you do that, to me, is if you move off of Brandon Ayuk. If you move off of Brandon Ayuk, you can get an offensive lineman with whatever pick you trade for, top 20 somewhere, and then you get your wide receiver with that 31 pick, because there's a lot of guys there available. So if Matt Mayoko's talking about it, where there's smoke, there's fire, usually with Matt Mayoko, except for the Sam Darnold thing. Outside of that, there's usually fire with that smoke. So it could be a trade is coming. That could be what it is, because I don't see if they don't trade him, I don't see how they do that. I don't see why they would do that. I don't think that's
right. Like, sure, you could trade Debo next year, and Juwan Jennings going to be a free agent next year, but you're really going to spend your first round pick on a player who would be 4th on the depth chart for a year, and it's in a season where you really think you should win the Super Bowl. I don't see it, but let's look at it this way. Let's say the 49ers' best offer for Ayuk is from Washington, and it's the 2 second-round picks, 36 and 40. Be a nice trade haul for Brandon Ayuk. What the Niners could do is have it in their back pocket, get to 31, pick the wide receiver they want, or wait and make sure that whichever wide receiver they want is there, pick him, then make the trade.
Yeah, I could see it, man. I could see it being possible. I mean,
because let's say they only want Adonai Mitchell of all the wide receivers who could be available at 31. Maybe there's one guy that Kyle's like, this is the only one I think is the truth. It's this one. And if he's not there, I'm not making this trade. But if he is, I will. It could be something like that.
So is this a win now year or not? I think that's my question, because if you move off of your best receiver, the only receiver that can do what Brandon Ayuk does, and bet that some rookie's going to come in and take his place and be able to do what Brandon Ayuk does, is this really a win now season, or is it a rebuild season? Because to me, if you move off of Brandon Ayuk and you draft a rookie wide receiver, it's a rebuild season. This isn't a go all in, let's win the Super Bowl type of season without Brandon Ayuk. If you're relying on a rookie to somehow step in and take Brandon Ayuk's place, who was in the doghouse his first year. How do we even know this guy's even going to be ready or good? That's a risk. That's a rebuild to me. And I don't know if that's where they're at.
I feel it. But look, in Ayuk's first season, he wasn't in the doghouse. Remember, Jimmy got hurt, and that season was kind of off the rails, but he played 12 games and averaged 5 catches a game. This last season, he averaged 4.7. It was the second season when he dropped down to 3.3, and the Niners started phasing him out so they could throw passes to Trent Sherfield and Mohamed Sanu, and that was crazy. But this like myth that wide receivers can't play right away for the 49ers. Man, Debo was a key part of their run to the Super Bowl in 2019. Right. Ayuk was actually pretty freaking – I mean, he was actually about as productive his rookie year as he was his past year, maybe not as efficient. So, I mean, you're the 4th option in a run-first offense. Like Brandon Ayuk said, you don't have a ton of attention. I mean, someone they could get at pick 31 probably be – I mean, Adonai Mitchell is 6'2", runs a 4.3. Man.
Here's the thing. You want to win a Super Bowl, Grant, and you're in charge of this roster. You want to win a Super Bowl this year, right? Yeah. You roll with a rookie or Brandon Ayuk?
I mean, I would trade Brandon Ayuk. And I know it seems like it makes the team worse in the short term, but you also have to balance everything else and sacrificing the future to give you one more shot with the team that just lost.
Well, but the question, like,
this team I don't think is winning the Super Bowl anyway.
Okay, like long term, I think that might be the best decision for this team is to get cheaper and younger. I don't disagree, but if you are saying, if you believe, if you really want to, if you're the GM, if you're John Lynch, Kyle Shanahan, and you really want to win a Super Bowl this year, if that's really how you feel, are you moving on from Brandon Ayuk? I would say no. Now, if it's, hey, let's reset, let's get cheaper, let's get younger, then yeah, that makes sense to me. I wouldn't be mad at it at all. I wouldn't be mad. I don't get mad about what they do if they trade Brandon Ayuk.
Well, think about it this way. So let's say Kyle was the one that wanted Ayuk 4 years ago. He was like, look, I mean, let's say he had complete conviction about how good Ayuk would be, and he was right. He also drafted Deebo Samuel and Juwan Jennings. Let's say Kyle's the one spearheading this, talking to the front office like, guys, we don't need to do this. I'm the one that found Brandon Ayuk. Adonai Mitchell from Texas, I like him even more, or whoever it is. If Kyle was that certain, and I were John Lynch, I would defer and say, all right, Kyle, trust you. You picked Brandon Ayuk. This is your offense. You're not going to change it around to justify spending all this money. Like the Dolphins give Tyreek Hill 170 targets a year because they're paying him $30 million a year. I mean, that's Mike McDaniel. He's not stupid. Right. Kyle's not stupid either. He understands what it would take to justify spending that much money on a wide receiver. Maybe he's like, look, it might take Adonai Mitchell a couple of years to reach his full potential, but he's gonna be really, really freaking good right away too. Be interesting to hear what Kyle thinks.
And then, are we sleeping on Ronnie Bell and the way they look at Ronnie Bell at all? That's the other thing.
I like Ronnie Bell.
Maybe they see Ronnie Bell as a capable replacement if the rookie's not ready right away. Maybe that's the case. I don't, but maybe they do.
I liked him a whole lot better as a wide receiver than as a returner. I thought he got open. It's a good point.
Yeah,
he looked good in the preseason.
It's just, he was one of the main players outside of Jair Brown. He's probably the rookie that had the most opportunity in year one. So it wouldn't surprise me if that escalated in year two and he got even more opportunity. And so maybe he's kind of the crutch, right? He's the hedge for these guys in this situation. Maybe that has something to do with it.
All right, round 2.
Yeah.
What do you think? This is where they go offensive tackle?
So first of all, in round 1, about 25%, I do a lot of mock drafts, way too many. I need to do less. But in round 1, when I run mock drafts, there's 2 players that are no-brainer picks for me that drop probably 25% of the time. 25% of the time when I run my mock drafts, one of these 2 guys are available at 31. And those guys are Jackson Powers, center, and Byron Murphy, defensive tackle. So to me, if either one of those guys drops in round 1, that's a no-brainer. You pick those guys because those are both needs and instant difference makers for this team. I think Byron Murphy might be the best D tackle in this draft, might be the best defensive player in this draft. He's really good. Jackson Powers is automatically off top better than Jake Brendel. So if either one of those guys drops, you get them. Instead of, trying to get one of these tackles early, I think that's the way the 49ers go. They're going to go corner, they're going to go safety, they're going to go D tackle or pass rusher at 31 if they stay put and they don't trade Brandon Ayuk.